Let's make some good old braised short ribs with this delicious gravy. The weather's changing, as y'all can hear the stuffiness in my voice. So these braised short ribs have quickly become a family hit. They're juicy, tender, they're full of flavor. So let me show you how to get down. So you want to get some short ribs boned in. I hit them with a bunch of seasoning, which is just salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. Not pressure cooking because these kids are in school, and I'm going to show you how to cook low and slow. So you want to get a nice Dutch oven, get it nice and hot with some avocado oil, and then press these short ribs down and sit them on each side for about 4 to 5 minutes. When I say each side, I'm not just talking about the front and the back. Flip those things over and make sure that they're seared on all 4 sides. Nice sear like this is going to ensure even more flavor going into this dish. Once you got that good, beautiful sear, go ahead and take those off and put them on this sheet tray with a bacon rack. Reduce your heat to about medium, and then go ahead and toss in some onions that were chopped up. Chop up some celery and toss that in, and the same thing with some carrots. This mirepoix right here, once you sweat this down, is ready to cook low and slow with these short ribs. It's going to provide extra moisture and extra flavor to this dish. After you sweat them down a little bit, add a little bit of flour, mix that in. Deglaze with some red wine, about a cup or so. Mix that up and let the alcohol cook out of the red wine before you go ahead and add some beef broth. For some more deep and rich refined flavor, I'm adding some beef better than bouillon, some garlic and herb seasoning. Give that a good mix and let it come up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, you want to go ahead and get those short ribs right back into here. So cut the heat off because these are going into the oven. Get all the short ribs tucked into this broth. If there's not enough liquid to cover all the short ribs, just go ahead and add a little bit more broth or water. I'm adding some garlic cloves, some thyme and rosemary here. Close that up and put it in a 300-degree oven. We're going to let this cook for about 3 or 4 hours. While that's cooking, I'm going to work on some mashed potatoes. So we got some Yukon Golds that we peeled. I'm going to slice it here into about 1-inch disc. Give it a really good rinse. Boil them into their fork tender. Drain them and then put them in the same pot that they cooked in. Put a towel over just to steam them and get some of that excess moisture out. Then you want to go ahead and start to smash those things down. I got some cream that I steeped on the stove with some thyme and rosemary and garlic. I'm going to add some of that. Mix those up until they get nice and creamy. Go ahead and add some salt and some Parmesan cheese to this. And look, I'm guarantee you're going to have the creamiest, softest, most flavorful mashed potatoes you ever made. Alright, so now back to these short ribs. Once they're done, these things are going to look and smell delicious. The kitchen's going to pick up all those fumes of this delicious braised short rib that was slow cooked. We're going to take them out of that nice gravy. I said gravy, but it's really still a broth. We're going to show you how to make the gravy, but look how the bone slid right out of these. Pull-out game was crazy. Sorry for the veggie lovers here because I'm going to take all the veggies out of this broth, put that into a strainer. We're going to take a little bit of that broth, add some flour to it, and give that a really good mix to mix out any flour lumps. Add it back into the pot. Give it a good mix and let that simmer on the stove for a little bit so that we can thicken up the gravy. Then you want to strain that gravy one time. Plate the short rib up with this mashed potatoes that we made earlier. Pour that gravy over it and garnish with some chives. We got some really juicy and tender short ribs here paired with some creamy mashed potatoes. These joints were a hit. Try this one out and let me know when you do. And you already know it's a wrap. Let's go.